Mark time. Mark. Colors. Whoa. Whoa. The colors.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ordered. March. Mark time. Mark.
The buildings are they maintained well. They're surprise visits, so that's kind of fun. And so we also look to see how safe they are and like the general well-being of the schools, and all 3 schools were exceptional. I have to say Bramlett stood out, so congratulations to Bramlett for this month's Clean and Safe Schools. And again, just really great job to our custodial teams, and again, just all of the work that goes into keeping it safe. So good job, everyone.
Congratulations, Bramlett. And speaking of clean and safe schools, we're going to invite Dr. LaDuff and Mr. Perno up to the podium to give some custodial recognitions.
Good evening. Tonight we'd like to recognize our head custodian from Bethlehem Elementary School, Mr. Julian Palamas. If you would please come forward. I'd like to read something that the principal for Bethlehem wrote. This crew is absolutely fabulous. They've made so many positive changes to the cleanliness of our building, and they have built strong and positive relationships with the staff. They are all in for Bethlehem Elementary School, and much of that is due to Julian's leadership. He's reliable, dependable, and proactive. He's developed a team of caring and competent custodians. He's very responsive to our needs, and we are blessed to have him at Bethlehem Elementary School. And I think he's got some folks here cheering him on tonight. If they would, maybe stand up for us. Yeah. Thank you, Julian. We appreciate you so much. Yes, sir.
All righty, thank you, Mr. Perno. Next up, we've got the 2024 Bear County School System Holiday Card winners.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure tonight to recognize some phenomenal students. Each year, we always look forward to the holiday card contest because our students are so talented, and their teachers are just amazing as well. Tonight, we're recognizing our author, which is the inside message, and our illustrator, which is the lovely outside drawing. Both of these students, ironically, are from AIM, the Arts and Innovation Magnet Program. We had 15 entries this year, and it just ended up that both of the entries for the message as well as the outside cover ended up being from AIM. Here at the PDC, we do a secret ballot vote, so it was a lot of fun this year. I'd like to call up Haley Thomas. Haley is a 7th grade student for the Arts and Innovation Magnet Program. She's our illustrator. If you want to come on up, Haley. Her teacher is Miss Laura Payne, too. I want to make sure and mention that. Also, joining her, sorry, my notes are, is Elizabeth. Is Elizabeth Oman. She's a 6th grade student from the Arts and Innovation Magnet Program, and Laura Payne is also her teacher. And Miss Payne, would you please come up as well? I'd like for the parents of these students and their siblings, if they're here, to please stand as well, because our parents are... Thank you. I'm really excited tonight because we also have Zaxby's joining us. Zaxby's has been a district partner in education with us since 2019, and part of something they established and they created are these Zaxby's Urgency to Serve grants. I want to highlight that this is something specific for Barrow County. This is not a chain-wide grant thing. So anyway, it's been a lot of fun. Over 6 years, there have been 115 grants given to our teachers, and over 30,000 students have been impacted by this, and they have reinvested over $52,000 into our classrooms to enrich the educational experiences of our kids. So I'm just so excited to introduce Todd Faulkner from Zaxby's and Vicki Gaddy from Zaxby's as well, and they're going to be helping tonight with the recognitions, and Todd's got a few words to say.
Thank you, Ellen. Very few words. So, urgency to serve. Urgency to serve is something we strive for at Zaxby's every day with our team, with our guests, and with our community. As Ellen said, we've been partners with the school system for about 26 years. And I've had the privilege of serving the school system in different capacities. It's been a pleasure to see from the inside how hard you guys work and what you do, and you make it seem so seamless, and this probably goes, you don't get the gratification that you deserve. So it's always fun reading the grants, seeing the hard work, creativity, and the passion the teachers and administrators have for the students, our community, and its future. We just want you guys to know that Zaxby's appreciates what you do. The grants are one way we can say thank you, and hopefully make your jobs a little easier. The school system and county have been really good to us over the years. We're so pleased to be able to give back. The grants are one of the many ways we at Zaxby's want to serve you all. Thank you.
As I call your names, teachers, would you please come up, and we have a few things for you, and I want you to stay up here because we want to get some pictures. Our first grant recipient this year is from Austin Road Elementary School, Andrea Rowe, and the name of her grant is Sensory Learning Garden for Everybody. The second grant is to Christy Towers, also from Austin Road Elementary School. Her grant was entitled Comprehension Strategies for Success. Our next grant recipient is Stephanie Martin with Bethlehem Elementary School. The name of her grant was Meeting Sensory Needs During Specials. The next grant recipient is from Bethlehem Elementary, Wendy Green. Supporting readers with advanced decoding skills. The next recipient is Kea Rollo from Bethlehem, Sensory Garden Club Planters. Also from Bethlehem Elementary, Jenny Landers, Making Functional Skills Fun. From Holsenbeck Elementary School, Amanda Durant Griffith, bringing traditional crafts to the elementary arts classroom. The next is Amy Arnold from Kennedy Elementary, expanding expressive language across the curriculum. The next grant recipient is Amy Wilson of Sims Academy. Rocket into Spanish. Our next one is also from Sims, Annabelle Snyder, Literacy Celebration. The next one is April Dermeyer, Building Bridges with Buddies in Literacy, also from Sims. And these three ladies are from our Newcomer Academy, and I think almost every year they have received a Zaxby's grant. So Zaxby's really loves those grants especially. Our next recipient is Kelly Cravey from Yargo Elementary. Practicing cultural awareness through diverse supplies. The next one is from Yargo, Tamara Bancroft. Build a step team anyone would be proud of. So she's starting a brand new program with this grant. The last one is Robert Rogan from Yargo Elementary School. The Seeds of Learning. If any family members of these teachers are here, would you please stand? Thank you.
All righty, congratulations again to all those great teachers. Next up, we've got the Barrow County School System Communications Team GSPRA Awards.
Good evening. It is my distinct pleasure tonight to be able to honor our fine Barrow County Communications team. The board and the community routinely see the great work that they do to communicate with our families, with our stakeholders, to tell the story of Barrow County schools. But it's always extremely gratifying when people outside of our community take notice of the fine work they do. Our communications team, like a lot of professionals in education, have their own professional organization. That is the Georgia School Public Relations Association, or GSPRA. And this fall, GSPRA gave Barrow County School System communication teams 3 gold awards for excellence in videography for 3 different videos that were published during the last year, including Over the Moon for Pre-K Lottery Campaign, Recruitment Campaign to help introduce our schools to potential teaching candidates. Pete the Cat author promotes literacy through read-along with pre-K and kindergarten students. And I believe we have a short compilation of that so you can see their fine work.
I like playing with toys. I like my teacher. I'm over the moon for pre-K. Pre-K is out of this world.
Hello, welcome to Westside Middle School.
Hi, I'm Mindy Reed. I'm the proud principal of Bethlehem Elementary.
Good morning. Welcome to Winder Elementary School.
Miss Hodges is one of the most friendliest principals you'll ever meet.
I love Yargo. First of all, we're totally a family.
Somebody should come work at Kennedy because it's an awesome place to be with wonderful staff and helpful administration.
I love working here mostly because I never not feel supported. I have a wonderful faculty that I get to work with. My admin is always very supportive.
At BASA, we focus on student careers.
And it's a true family here at Statham Elementary. You should come to Bear Creek because we are family, we care about kids, and we will care about you.
Hey everybody. So this is about going to the library. Who's ever been to the library? Pete's mom is taking him to the library for the first time. The librarian gives Pete his very own library card. Cool, says Pete. The librarian smiles. Time for the tour. Next, Pete opens a book about spiders and insects. Ooh, spiders! Pete opens a book about the pyramids. I love the pyramids. Do you know what the pyramids are? When Robot Pete speaks, he says, what do robots say? Next, Pete picks up a book about superheroes. Who likes superheroes? Me too. I like Batman. You like Batman?
I like Spider-Man.
You like Spider-Man? There are many wonderful books to read at the library. Pete can be whatever he imagines with a book. Reading is super groovy. The end.
And those were 3 clips from the 3 videos that received the awards. So what we'd like to do now is to ask the communications team to come up. I'm going to call them up so that we can honor them together. Jackson Hensley. Michael Jones. And I want to point out as they come up, they all have distinct roles, and this really is a team effort in this. Michael and Jackson are the primary people doing the actual videoing and video editing, but that has to be pushed out through social media channels with a communications plan, and that is ably handled by Sierra Hammond. And communication is no good without building a community. The Pete the Cat event was coordinated and put together by Miss Ellen Petrie, and we'd like her to join us. And lastly, a team is only as strong as its leader, and they have an excellent leader in Miss Nicole Vallis. And so just take a moment to thank them for all they do to tell the story of Barrow County Schools.
They're the ones that always take our pictures, so we need somebody to take their picture.
They gave me a crash course on how to do this.
Don't drop it.
She's gonna.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Good evening, board members, community members, staff. Thank you for being here tonight. On behalf of the Barrow County School System and our community, I'm honored tonight to recognize our Board of Education members that are completing their terms of service very soon here at the end of the month. Throughout their tenure, these distinguished individuals have tirelessly dedicated their time, energy, and wisdom to our community. Being a board member is not an easy thing to do. It is often a thankless job, and that's because a lot of the work that a board member does is unseen, but their impact is felt by very, very many. Some would say felt the most by the most precious people in all of our lives. Lynn Stevens, Ricky Bailey, Jordan Raper, and Vince Kane have navigated our school system and our community through challenges, championed initiatives that have enriched our curriculum, enhanced our facilities, and supported our staff and students. Their legacy will endure, and I am so grateful for all of your service. And I'd like to recognize each of you individually, and I'm going to ask my team to come forward and help me do that. So y'all come on up.
All right, we're going to talk about Mr. Kane first. We really enjoyed working with Mr. Kane. His financial expertise has been instrumental in helping me become a better CFO. He consistently offered insightful ideas, and we were able to engage in meaningful discussions to navigate the challenges of school finance. He was also a key member of the committee that helped implement the age-based tax exemptions, which will benefit our seniors for many years to come. Throughout our discussions, he was often been the voice of reason, especially when debates became heated. Though his words are few, they are always thoughtful and impactful. We appreciate your service to staff, citizens, and our students, and you will be missed.
It is my distinct honor to say a few words about Mr. Jordan Raper, our illustrious board chair, as he exits the board after 6 years of service to the community. Mr. Raper was appointed to the Board of Education in January of 2019 to fill an open vacancy on the board. He was selected over several other applicants who applied for the open seat in a competitive interview process to earn his seat. Subsequently, 2 years later, he was elected to a full term in November of 2020 as the District 8 at-large representative. During Mr. Raper's term, the system saw numerous accomplishments, including the opening of the Barrow Arts and Sciences Academy, the opening of Austin Road Elementary School, and Barrow County finally reaching the long sought-after goal of a 90% graduation rate, which we were able to meet multiple times during his tenure. Mr. Raper also served on the board during one of the most challenging times in the history of public education, the COVID-19 pandemic, and he brought thoughtful opinions and a level head to difficult debates and decisions during that challenging time period. In January of 2023, Mr. Raper became the Board of Education chair. Now, I'm going to digress for a second and say, being a board member is a thankless, difficult task that makes a huge difference in the community. As difficult as it is, being the board chair, or being the vice chair, but particularly the board chair, is one of the more difficult things you can do even in that. Mr. Raper did a fantastic job of that. The man can really work a gavel. During his tenure, he led Barrow County through many challenges and culminating and resulting in leading a successful superintendent search that resulted in the hiring of Dr. Dallas LaDuff as full-time superintendent in May of 2024. Jordan will be missed, and we thank him for his service to the Barrow County community, his steadfast leadership in difficult times, and we wish he and his family well in all his future endeavors, and we hope he knows he will always be a valued part of the Barrow County school system family. Please join me in extending thanks to Jordan Raper for all he's done for the system for the past 6 years.
I'm honored to speak about Ms. Stevens tonight. We'll start off with Ms. Stevens began her role as a board member in 1997. There were 7,500 students in the district, 7 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 1 high school. The board office was at Church Street and 2 other locations in 1997 before moving here in 2002, and she served alongside 6 superintendents. When I think about Ms. Stevens and her service as a board member, I think about the fact that she's always put students first. Ms. Stevens has always been an active and committed board member. She's always been there for the committee meetings, receptions, groundbreakings, open houses. She's never been wild about how our Clean and Safe Schools visits are scheduled early in the morning, especially on cold winter mornings. But she's always been there with her coffee in hand, ready to get out and walk the schools. 2 things I'd point out in particular is her leadership in the midst of the Great Recession years ago. She and our other board members worked extremely hard and made very difficult decisions at that time, but they always remained focused on providing the very best support for our kids in the classroom while protecting teachers and staff. The other thing is a quick story about a day years ago when we presented a different delivery method to our building committee for selecting contractors and managing projects. It's called Construction Manager at Risk. And Ms. Stevens remembered a bad experience with a different version of that delivery method that the school system employed just a few years into her tenure as a board member. She looked down the table at me and she said, "I'll get behind this, I'll support you, but just remember, I know where you live. And if this doesn't go well, I'll come and see you." And I think she said that mostly in jest. But to me, this is just an example of how Ms. Stevens has operated. She can be tough, but she's also fair, and you always know that she's there in your corner. I've always appreciated that and admired that in Ms. Stevens. Thank you, Ms. Stevens. You will be missed. And I believe next month we're going to recognize Mr. Bailey. He couldn't be here tonight. So.
All right, in closing, just want to thank you guys again. Everything that we're able to do for children starts with effective governance, and I just want to appreciate your dedication to our staff, our students, and our community. And that concludes the superintendent's recognitions.
All righty. Thank you so much, Dr. LaDuff. Now we're going to have a little fun. I'd like to invite up Miss Julia Hodges for the Bold Spotlight for Austin Road Elementary.
Well, let me introduce to you some of these rockets up here. And in no particular order, this is Grace Peck, a second grade teacher, Andrea Rowe, STEAM, during, labs, we call them labs, but it's specials. Dina Everhart's instructional coach, Tiara Mensinger, assistant principal, and Angela Johnson, fifth grade teacher. Okay.
All right, so as the STEAM teacher, I created our design thinking process to guide students as 21st century learners solving real-world problems. Based on prior experience and the STEAM forum that we attended, we delivered professional development to our staff about integrating arts using the design thinking process to promote creativity and critical thinking skills. Each grade level chose a problem that they observed around our school campus that ties into grade level science standards. In first grade, we are working to develop and maintain a seasonal garden to provide fresh food to our school community. In second grade, we noticed that when our school was built, they clear-cut most of the land, and we did not have very many pollinators for our first pollinator census. And so we are focused on creating a space to attract and bring in pollinators. Third grade is focused on composting to provide healthy soil to our school gardens. Fourth grade is very excited to start our frog bog that the Alvarado family helped us install. And it will help us learn about ecosystems and food webs. And fifth grade noticed weathering and erosion around our school campus. So we are working with an arborist to learn about how to prevent and protect the land from weathering and erosion. We were able to start our sensory garden with support from several grants, and this space will encompass all the problem-based learning that we are doing at Austin Road. Thanks to the $10,000 Oconee Soil and Water Conservation District and the $20,000 McDonald's grant, we get to expand our sensory garden. And from the Zaxby's grant, the students, staff, and families gave input on their big ideas to create our vision that will integrate more learning opportunities. And here is just a snapshot of our vision, kind of our dream board, if you will. And we are very excited to continue to work on that because we have been working on it as this school has been built. Every year we just, every month even, we just keep adding more and meeting with more people. With the innovation grant from the Department of Education, we created a STEAM library with materials to check out, cooking supplies, animal habitats, and gardening tools. Our innovative director, Lee Bain, graciously provided us with a dedicated performance space. And our Austin Road Rockets love animals. County maintenance, families, and I have provided school pets. The students enjoy studying and caring for them. Agriculture Day was a huge success. This was a beautiful way to tie in our community partners and to showcase our knowledge of agricultural literacy. We are thrilled to continue to have this event each year. We are so thankful to our community partners and excited about all the new experiences that we will have as we continue to grow and do new things.
Hello. So now we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about innovation at Austin Road and with our learning plans. All right. So when we say innovative learning plans, you might be thinking small group plans, where we individually add our students to our differentiated learning plans, but not quite. When we say individual learning plans at Austin Road, we mean exactly that. Each student having an individual learning plan tailored to their needs. The purpose of these plans is for all students to have guided instruction and tracked throughout our map normative data. They have our development meetings with our students, and then we document all of their learning statements into the notebooks, as you can see, and then we have individualized instruction for those students based on the plan. So whether our students are struggling readers or advancing readers, they have an individual plan that is targeted for their improvement and growth. Now let's hear from teachers.
Good evening. This year, our administration challenged us to jump into the idea of individualized learning plans. And when they first said this, I am not going to lie, I thought to myself, how could I do anything else to differentiate? But boy, was I wrong. The truth is, as teachers, we can always do more. And my class makeup is a little bit different from the teacher that you're going to hear about in a few seconds. My class is made up of mostly advanced learners. And a lot of times our advanced learners do get left behind because we feel like, well, they're fine. They know the content. But the thing is that when they get left behind, their needs are not being met, and they deserve to be met as well. With the individualized learning plan, it took away any excuse because using the MAP learning progressions and diving deep into the needs of each student, I was able to see not just the areas where students were weak, but it also gave me ideas in order to advance my students, in order to make sure that even my most advanced students continue to grow. So for example, I might have students that are working on using text features to aid their comprehension in nonfiction text. That really is a standard that starts in first grade. But then using the MAP progressions, I also have a student that is ready to learn about figurative language and understanding figurative language. And I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't really dug deep into their data and individualized their learning plan. I'm very wordy, so I'm trying to go fast. So even though I still do small group differentiation, in that small group, I take time with individual students. We look at their goal because we've set a goal together based on their needs, whether it's what they need, have a weakness in or a strength. We work together during that group time, and we make sure that their needs are being met. Individualized learning plans help students to understand their own learning and take ownership of their own goals. We sit together and we look at their own data and we decide together a target of what they can develop for themselves, that they can work on, that meets their needs during reading and math time. Because I started this in reading, but it is so effective in math as well. Not only does it develop our learners academically, but it gives me, the teacher, and the individual student an opportunity to connect and to grow in our students and their confidence as learners, being given that one-on-one time. This puts the learning back on the students, which is what we ultimately want. We want them to love learning, and we want them to want to learn. They know their goal, they work hard towards that goal individually and with me, and honestly, they love that their goal is individualized. It is theirs and only theirs, and that alone gives them the boost and motivation to work towards meeting it. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am a fifth grade teacher, a very proud one, at Austin Road Elementary School, and I teach language arts to 2 different groups of fifth graders every single day. We use our new HMH curriculum every day, but during our small group time, I am able to meet with my students individually. At the very beginning of the school year, I met with every child. We went over their MAP scores, and each child set individual goals. Using the learning continuum provided by the MAP growth report, each student then reviews the skills that the program lists them as ready to develop. We choose one goal to focus on, and then they practice the skill during independent reading time. We meet again to see how they're progressing. Soon we choose other skills. This individual learning plan has allowed me to get to know each of my 52 fifth graders as readers, and it helps them identify their own strengths and weaknesses. Setting goals and focusing on one skill encourages them to take ownership of their own learning. During the conversations we have during these meetings, I've been really surprised by some of the skills that we've been able to cover really quickly that they needed to go over. I believe my students are becoming more focused on how they're reading, not just what they're reading. I've also noticed an increase in enthusiasm for reading and in the ability for them to talk about reading. I'm so very proud of the progress my Rockets have made this school year, and I can't wait to watch their continued growth. Thank you.
But wait, there's more. We have our kindergarten team who couldn't be here tonight but have prepared a video. Just go back one. Just kidding.
Amanda Jenkins, and I'm a kindergarten teacher here at Austin Road Elementary. This year, the kindergarten team at Austin Road is currently implementing.
and we're just gonna doop, doop, doop.
Hello, my name is Amanda Jenkins, and I'm a kindergarten teacher here at Austin Road Elementary. This year, the kindergarten team at Austin Road is currently implementing an innovative model during our reading block. This evening, I would like to share with you some of the details of this model, our process in designing instruction to meet our students' needs, and our future goals for the expansion of this model. Here at Austin Road, our innovative model is called Rocket Groups because we want to see our students soar to their highest potential. The first step that we took in creating these groups was for our team to decide which assessment data we would use to create these groups. So we ultimately landed on our MAP percentile for reading. We were able to have 9 groups because we have 5 kindergarten teachers, 3 kindergarten paraprofessionals, 1 special education teacher, and an EIP teacher that was available during our Rocket Group time. Our instructional focus during this time is ELA, of course, and because we were able to break up the groups into by level, we can focus on everything from reading accuracy, fluency, comprehension, all the way down to students that need extra support with letters and sounds, sound fluency, and everything in between, phonological awareness, and we're also using Dropbox during this time. Our next step was to create teacher and student-friendly schedules and make it color-coded so it was easy for the kindergarten students to know where they were going during this time and to make transitions much suited rockets made by one of our team members in the hallway to help students with a smooth transition. They could just find where they need to go and line up each day. And seriously, you would not believe how quickly our kindergarten students are able to transition at this point in the year now that we've been doing this for several months. They can transition within 2 minutes, get all their materials needed and head out. Our next step was to take the MAP learning continuum to create our individualized learning plans, which are ILPs for each student. And so we took this information and we put it into conferring notes for the teachers that will be working with each of our students during this time. And so we use this tool to continuously communicate back and forth between the homeroom teacher and the Rocket Group teachers. And so each week we also plan together and collaborate, and we share weekly goals, skill growth, progress with our students, work samples, the conferring notes, and next steps for our students. To share some things that worked well for us this year. So far, we're still, tweaking it and making it better each week. But we did make the decision early on to begin this innovative model after Labor Day. This gave us plenty of time to get to know our students, build relationships and trust with them, and also just get students acclimated to kindergarten, which we know takes a little bit of a minute, and that seemed to work well, giving them that extra time, giving us extra time to plan things out and get the model ready to launch right after Labor Day. So that worked well. We also implement this model twice a week, so on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then the remainder of the week we focus on HMH skill focus. So we do the remediation, acceleration, and design that instruction based on the weekly HMH assessments. That way, that's how we fit everything in so far. Students also wear their PBIS lanyards with them to the Rocket Groups, and this has worked really well for teachers to be able to encourage students and give them that feedback immediately each day. So it's built a great bridge. And then the best part, I think, is being able to build the relationships with students beyond our homeroom, and that's helped us to create a stronger kindergarten team across the board with the students, so that's been a nice part of the Rocket. So future steps, we have discussed possibly expanding to 4 days a week with our groups because we actually really love that it creates this small class size those 2 days a week, and we're able to really hone in on the skills that those students need in those small groups. And then of course, we'll be using our MAP winter data to look back through and determine changes for our student grouping, and of course look at the learning continuum to continue to design our instruction for that. Overall, Rocket Groups and this innovative model have been an extremely positive experience for our students and our teachers so far, and we cannot wait to celebrate the growth of the students when we get to winter MAP and our GKIDS assessments coming up very soon. We are loving this model, and I'm thankful to share this innovative model experience with an amazing kindergarten team. So I just want to mention their names: Lauren Stevens, Bethany Lee, Jenny Powell, and Rebecca Jewell.
Do you have any questions? Yes.
Is your school a magnet school, or can any child go to your school? How does that work?
Well, it's based on district. We are within, what is our district that our children can pull from?
We're just 1 of 10.
Yeah, just 1 of 10.
We're not like BASA or.
No, it's not a
CKIDS.
choice school,
No,
no.
this is own school. So when the school was built and they blinded, right? So we have part of Bethlehem and we have some
Or
of
the Kennedy.
Kennedy. And we just, I need to say, like, everybody's on fire, you know?
Yeah.
You should, I hate that you had that much video to watch, but it's that much passion going on there, right?
Well, you can see it, and that's really cool. I've been a part of Yargo for the past 5 years. I was also on the PTO and the other parent committee. I forgot the name right now.
School governance.
Yes, I was part of that as well. And I like the fire that I can feel and I can see through the video and the passion that your teachers have. And my next question would be, if this becomes something successful, can it be shared across the board with other schools?
Oh, I would hope so.
Definitely,
Right.
definitely.
I mean, we were, like Grace said in the beginning, when we brought it up to them about the ILPs, they all grumbled. I mean, it was, even when T said something to me this summer, I just, what are they gonna do? I didn't want them to run. And, but we just said, give us some time, just please try it. And so then Angela, she just went all in. She said, I'm gonna do it, and we'll see what happens. So T would check on her periodically, and Angela said, it's working, like I see it. And just like she said, they're owning their own learning, and even if you're a kindergartner or you're second grade, they really are. And so, so this is throughout the whole building, though, not just, these guys are able to tell them tonight,
Well, congratulations, it's phenomenal.
Thank
Thank you.
And while they're taking a picture, I'd just like to echo what she said. This is one of the beautiful things of why we do the Barrow Bold Spotlights, is because whenever you work in one school, a lot of times you don't know what goes on outside the walls of that one school. And so getting to hear like, wow, they're doing that, we should try that or implement that, and that's how that fire spreads. And so we appreciate Austin Road for sharing those great ideas with us that hopefully many of our schools can implement.
And we brought the Alvarados up here. I know that you did, I don't know if you know someone on the slide or what, but they built some back pages and, or back houses. No, okay. Back pages. Frog, bog. Look, I just said, don't let me find out the other way. Come talk to me first before we do something, because they want chickens and goats and all sorts of things. But it's so excited, so, and keep getting grants, so I don't know what to do. We are partnering.
Well, and I will say, Julia was sitting next to me actually when I got back on the board, and that was my learning curve, was getting up to what's the difference between a standard school and a charter school. And that was a good thing that Barrow County now is doing, that we're a charter, so our schools and the school governance teams have a say-so they can do what's best for the kids that are in their building. You don't have to have a cookie cutter that everybody's doing the same thing at the same time, like some other school districts are. You go into a first grade classroom, they're going to be on the same page doing the same thing no matter what class you walk in. In Barrow County, they're going to do what they need to do for each individual kid, no matter what school you go in. So I think that was my learning curve, because Julia and I were sitting there behaving ourselves. But I said, I got to figure out what exactly is the difference between the standard, because when my kids came through, that's what it was. And being a charter school, that was my new learning curve when I came back on the board. So I think it's very good that Barrow is a charter school system, so they can do things like that and think outside the box.
All righty.
So.
Thank you again, Austin Road, for sharing with us tonight. Next, we're going to jump down into the presentations and discussions. We're going to start with Ms. Houston from Business Services.
All right. Good evening. The first thing I want to do is this is just another reminder that our new board in January will need to vote on opting out of House Bill 581. House Bill 581 limits the amount of the homestead property can increase to the annual consumer price increase or index. As you recall, the board approved a generous age-based tax exemption that will help our seniors who felt the impact of the house values increasing. At this moment, we are unsure of the exact financial impact this will have, but it could be close to $4 million. The board may want to opt out of 581, wait to see the impact of that age-based tax exemption, and then vote for something like this down the road, maintaining that local control. If you do opt out, this will be the timeline, and so we can advertise and have public hearings in January. So we will have to vote on this on the January 7th board meeting. If any of our current or future board members have any questions about House Bill 581, please feel free to reach out to me at any point, and we can dive into the bill and try to answer any questions that you have. All right, now we'll dive into our sales tax. So our sales tax for the month of November was $1,834,644.85. We always want to thank our Barrow County citizens for shopping in Barrow County. This helps build schools, renovate schools, helps our buses and technology needs. For the general fund, this is our board summary. Our total fund balance at November 30th was $82.4 million. Our total revenues year-to-date is $77.3 million. Our total expenditures year-to-date, $84.1 million. Our total revenues for the month of November was $22 million, so our tax revenue is starting to come in. And our total expenditures for the month of November were $16.3 million. Our target is we're at 42% of the year, so we always like to see our revenues above that line and our expenditures below that line. We are glad to see those expenditures below that line for this month. And this is our general fund detail. If you have any questions at all, just stop me. We'll move on to our special revenue fund for the month to date, October 31st, 2024. Our revenues were $7.8 million, our expenditures $10.3 million. For our capital projects, our expenditures, our revenue year to date is $5.9 million, our expenditures $8.5 million. Our debt service year to date, our revenue $1.6 million, and our expenditures $2.6 million. And then the last report I have are the invoices between $10,000 and $74,999 for November 20th, 2024. Any questions?
Hey, can you go back to the one where a couple slides back where not that one, the one before that. Yeah, that one. The expenditures. What's the deal with that one? The expenditures are more than the revenues?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Are the expenditures more than the revenues on this one?
This always works out this way. These are our federal grants, and so we always have to spend the money first before we get reimbursed. So we spend all the money starting out our school, getting our kids ready, buying the supplies, and then we have to wait for our federal grants to be approved, and then we ask for those reimbursements. So we're always going to be a little bit ahead of it with these special revenue funds, but we do get reimbursed, and they normally zero out. School food nutrition is also in this one too, but other than that, these grants, these are mostly grants, and they zero out at the end of the year. Great question, though. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, Ms. Houston. All righty, next I'd like to welcome up Dr. Thompson with Strategic Information Services.
Good evening again. As I've been doing it pretty much every work session or board meeting since September 4th, I wanted to take just a second to update the board on the process of our community feedback on potential new safety measures. And I know you've seen this timeline many times. We do have a bit of an update tonight. So as you've seen, we've gone through a process using our school governance teams, using focus groups of teachers, principals throughout the school district. We've tried to get feedback on various safety enhancements we might consider to the school system, and that's been an ongoing process. We used that feedback, and it was always the intent going back to the beginning of this process to eventually culminate that in a community survey. So we put that survey together based on the feedback we got from those groups to consider particular safety enhancements that we might bring to the board for approval. In this case, that survey was sent out yesterday afternoon, December 2nd. That will be open through December 13th, so about 2 weeks. That will be open. For the first 24 hours since that's been posted, we have had, as of 5:51 p.m., 1,684 responses system-wide. We have pushed that out through social media. We will continue to push that out through social media, reminders through Parent Link throughout that window. window because we want to hear from as many people in the community and from as broad a swath of the community as we possibly can, because we want everybody's voice to be heard and everyone's input to be received. We will, in transparency, publish all of the results, all of the tabulations. Once we have those completed, that will likely be in January at the work session. We'll bring a full accounting of all the survey results, the SGT results to the board for consideration, and either at that meeting or the subsequent one in February, we would bring potential safety enhancements to the board. So I am happy to answer any questions from the board on that process.
Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All righty. Next, we're going to get into the request to appear portion of our meeting. I'd like to welcome up Ms. Ballas.
Good evening. Tonight we have 2 requests to address our Board of Education. Before we welcome them to the podium, please keep in mind board policies, which summarize state the Barrow County Board of Education values public input about topics concerning our schools. Only residents of our district, representatives of organizations in our district, our student families, or school system employees may address the board. Each speaker is given 3 minutes and is asked to be civil and refrain from disparaging remarks concerning staff or that violate privacy laws. The board may stop a speaker if guidelines are not followed. The board will take each speaker's comments and questions into consideration. However, no action will be taken at the meeting. Generally, board members will not respond to questions or comments, but may if they choose to do so. Now we invite our first speaker, Layla Contreras. Please also restate your name before you begin. Thank you.
I have a proposal that I typed up. It's a research proposal. Thank you.
And if you can give me 3 more for the ones that are not here, I'll make sure they get it.
Okay. Good evening, members of the Board of Education and fellow Barrow County residents. My name is Layla Renee Contreras, and I'm a proud graduate of Appalachian High School, the founder of Change for Chi, and a sister to a current student and a daughter of a dedicated staff member. Above all, I am a committed member of this community. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight and for the thoughtful conversations I've had with many of you. Your willingness to listen shows that we all share a common goal: ensuring the safety and well-being of our students, teachers, and schools. 12 weeks ago, our community was forever changed by a tragedy that none of us will ever forget. As time has passed, the pain may have softened for some, but the urgency for action has not. The question we face is no longer whether we need change, but how quickly and decisively we can act to protect our children, educators, and future generations. As Barrow County continues to grow, our schools must grow safer and stronger alongside it. That's why I've put together Steps Towards Safety, which is the comprehensive proposal I've passed out. It's rooted in community input, evidence-based solutions, and practical strategies that can be implemented now and sustained for years to come. This proposal focuses on 4 key areas. First, updated classroom procedures, like standardized emergency drills and visitor protocols to ensure every classroom is prepared for emergencies. Second, enhanced physical security, including clear bag policies and AI-powered detection technologies to prevent threats from entering our schools. Third, to support for our educators with mental health resources and regular evaluations to help teachers manage the immense stress and trauma they face. And fourth, community engagement, through safety town halls to foster transparency, gather input, and rebuild trust between families and school leadership. These are layered, proactive measures, not reactive fixes. They don't address immediate needs. They build a foundation for lasting safety and resilience. I also want to take a moment to address the district's ongoing safety enhancement survey. While community input is critical, I'm concerned about potential bias in the ways the questions are framed. This is a message for the people of Barrow when taking the survey. Answer thoughtfully and honestly, and don't hesitate to share your full perspective. This is your chance to ensure your voice is heard. This is a moment that demands both empathy and courage. Empathy to truly see the students who deserve
a safe space to learn without fear, empathy to stand with the teachers who dedicate their lives to education and deserve a secure environment to do so, empathy to understand the parents who send their children to school each day, trusting us to keep them safe. But empathy alone is not enough. It must be met with courage. The courage to make the tough, sometimes uncomfortable decisions today to protect the lives of those who walk our school halls tomorrow. Courage to lead with conviction, knowing that these choices will define the safety and future of our community. Let us be bold, let us be decisive, and let us act. The time is now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Contreras. We appreciate you putting this all together, and it will definitely be used as we're planning as we move ahead. Thank you.
Hi. Our next speaker is Mr. Sean Schultz.
Good evening, everyone. Sean Schultz. Oops, sorry. Sean Schultz, community member, father. This will be my third time speaking with everyone here, board members, staff, administration. And some of it is to echo what Ms. Contreras says. We're going into our 4th month of no actions. We're another month in, still no changes. I do appreciate the increase in the communications and things on like the website and things like that have gotten a little more clear and concise. Excuse me, clear and concise. But I do have concerns with the survey. We just learned from these very passionate ladies how important individualization is. We have 20 schools in Barrow. One of them got attacked. I'm concerned that with sending out a survey in such a broad spectrum, there's 19 schools that were not affected the same way as my family was affected, as many other families were affected. We aren't all the same. We're not all in the same situation. The kids going to these other schools were impacted, absolutely, but not the same way. I think that's fair to say from anybody. I feel when I read through the survey, I was disappointed. Out of the 5 options of things that we're considering, 3 of them were portrayed very negatively. It seems to be about six things negative about each of those, 3, maybe 4 positive. That to me is going to skew results. That's trying to encourage people to say no to those things. Obviously, we're all individuals. We're our parents. We're community members, students, things like that. We're all going to make up our own minds, absolutely. But it's not ever made without influence. We trust the professionals to provide us the information that we're going to ultimately have to go off of. A lot of us, being parents, have jobs. We're busy. We don't have the time to put into it, the same as the people that have the jobs to go into the research of these things. The only 2 things that weren't portrayed very negatively were additional SROs and enhanced counseling. Both of those things are good. I don't think those are bad things. I also don't think metal detection's bad. We see it everywhere, not just in schools. We see it at any function, any event. If I take my children to Six Flags, we walk through metal detectors. To think that it is not productive to securing schools is just beyond me. I can't understand it. I can't comprehend it. I don't think any of the parents that have spoke to you guys individually as a community at all have been unreasonable in what we're saying, at all. But now we're looking at you guys not even hearing the results of this survey until next month, the end of next month, which means another month until there's any proposals made for changes. How long does it take to create policies? They don't happen overnight. And once we create policies, how long does it take for implementation? So now I'm thinking my child went to school from October or September all the way until the end of his junior year, and nothing changed. They see nothing different there. Still, as parents, still have the same feelings that we had in September because nothing has changed at all. Communication has improved, but that's been it. So I'm asking you guys, can we please act with some sense of urgency as opposed to pushing this out until the end of the school year? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Schultz. We appreciate you being with us tonight. All righty. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion for the authorizations for committees to meet.
Second.
Ms. Maloof, Ms. Kelly, all in favor? Okay. Motion passes. If you will notice our upcoming meeting dates, if you're going to the Walton County Board Training, it's on December 17th, and then we will have our regularly scheduled board meeting and the new board installation on January 7th, 2025. There's nothing else to discuss. For one last time, I hope you guys have a great night. We're adjourned.